I'm here in my kitchen with some ingredients that I have for some fresh tortilla soup. Rocky did a video, and so I thought that making some fresh tortilla soup was a great idea, so I am doing my own version. So right here I have some fresh cut garlic and ginger. I have some onions. I have a yellow bell pepper. I have some green chili peppers. Right here I have some fresh halibut that I bought, so I'm going to use seafood in mine, and that's almond meal and flour because I'm going to saute that. This is what the almond meal is. So I'm going to kind of like, not really saute it, but just kind of like sear it some so then I can saute my vegetables. I have a bunch of fresh tomatoes that I'm going to puree for tomato sauce. I have some vegetable broth here. I'm going to use a couple of limes. Of course, I'm going to put some cilantro down on top. I have some green onions. And these are the seasonings that I use to season the halibut. And I'm going to also use to season the soup. So I have some black pepper. I have some chili powder here. Some paprika, some cayenne, and then of course some sea salt. So let's get started. So in my pan, I have a pan on about medium low heat because this pan is a really thin pan and heats up really quickly. And I put probably about a tablespoon or so of some sesame oil in there. So I'm just going to kind of coat the halibut in a coating so that when I put it into the soup that it doesn't, you know, like kind of become fish shreds. I want it to kind of hold its shape. So I'm going to sear this first, and then I'm going to take it out, and then I'm going to you know, saute my vegetables up in you know, the oil that I use for the halibut. So that's getting a little smoky, so I'm going to have to stop recording while I do this. So I have my halibut like kind of cooking in the pan, and I flipped most of it over when it kind of, I don't want to tear it, so when it kind of flips over easily, then that's when I know that it's ready to be turned over. Okay, so now I'm going to take these out and put it on my sheet of wax paper that I have. Excuse me, my camera is like going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs here. So I'm going to put it on this wax paper right here, just like this, okay? So I have some more oil in the pan, and I'm going to put in my next batch of seasoned halibut chunks. And I'm going to cook it probably for almost a minute per side. Probably more like 40 seconds or something like that. Okay? So I flipped it over, and see how that kind of has like a little crisp coating on it. And now I'm going to remove it from the skillet and place it on my prepared wax paper. I added some more sesame oil to the pan, and now I'm going to put my vegetables in here. Okay, so I have my onions all nice and coated up. So here I have some garlic and ginger that I'm also throwing into the mix. So I just added my my orange bell peppers, and I have my green chili peppers in here. So I'm just going to kind of saute that all together, and then I'm going to get a little bit of vegetable broth in here just to kind of get the rest of all those little scrapings up off of the bottom of the pan of the fish seed. Okay, so here's some vegetable broth. Not a lot, probably about 1/4 cup. Just enough to kind of, you know, loosen all my seasonings from the bottom of the pot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer all of this to my crock pot so that this can slow cook, where, you know, I don't have to watch it. So it can slow cook for like a couple of hours. Okay, so stay tuned. Okay, so I have probably about, I don't know, 7 to 10 heirloom tomatoes in here, and so I'm going to puree these for the sauce for the soup. So I'm going to turn this on, and I'm not going to record because this thing gets pretty loud. So I just added a little bit of cilantro on top, and I'm going to turn it on again and just give it a pulse. Okay, so this is what the sauce looks like done, and now I'm going to add this to my crock pot where I already have the vegetables that I sauteed earlier, and then I'm going to let this simmer up real nice with a few seasonings. Okay, so here are the vegetables in the crock pot, and you see I'm just adding the tomato sauce that I just made with the fresh tomatoes. Okay, and I have the crock pot on high because I really want this to like bubble and boil up. So I just kind of poured all that in there, and I'm going to, you know, give it a stir. Kind of let everything get mixed in. I'm not going to add the fish now. The fish is not going to be added until this is done, or, you know, until the seasons have meshed in, you know, like how I want them to. So I'm going to add a few more of my spices, a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of cayenne, a little bit of paprika, and salt and pepper. Oh, and I have some fresh herbs too that I'm going to throw into the mix. Here are my fresh herbs that I got from the store yesterday. So I'm going to just kind of give these a little rough chop, and just going to add them into the soup as well. Okay, so here is the soup. It's like bubbled up quite nicely. It tastes really good, and it smells great. So okay, I'm like fogging up my camera. So I'm just basically going to drop the pieces of fish. I think this thing has probably been cooking for about a good hour at least. So I'm going to just drop the fish in here that I seared earlier, and that I had resting on some wax paper so that it can drain. And I'm just going to kind of let this sit, and it's still on high, for probably about another 30 minutes. And then I'm going to garnish, and we're going to be done. So I just turned the soup off. I turned my crock pot off. And the fish, you know, looks how I want it to look. The soup is smelling good. So the last thing to do is to like kind of toast these handmade tortillas. I don't know if you can see that in the oven. I'm going to cut them into strips, and then we're going to serve this up. It smells good too. Really, it does. Okay, so I have my corn tortillas on a that I sliced up on a 425-degree oven that I brushed with some sesame oil, and I'm just going to let those get crispy and then take them out. Okay, so this is the end result. I topped the tortilla. These are the tortillas that I cooked, and I topped it off with some Monterey Jack cheese, some raw cheese, and some fresh cut green onions, and some cilantro, and on the side I served it with some plantains, some fried plantains, and a mango salad. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial.